Eddie Brothers. Man, I wanted to share something with y'all, man. Sometimes I know I'll get on here and I'll say a few things that it only applies to people that think a certain way. But what I want to talk about today, man, it applies to everybody. And to be honest, if you never understand this, you'll never understand why your life is doing a certain thing. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times I'll say, man, a lot of people have certain knowledge to do a certain thing, but they'll look up and their world still isn't doing a certain thing. So this conversation is for everybody, man. You have to understand that, like, everything really comes down to energy, like energy displacement, like how much energy you have to put out into this world to create. And it comes down to what role you're playing. What role you're playing, man. First off, man, I might be looking like I just woke up because I did. It's about zero dark 30, and I'm doing a little laundry, man. I was walking by this laundromat. It's just like a clean little laundromat, man. Let me show y'all. I walk by this laundromat every day when I'm going to 7-Eleven into the stores, man. It's just a vibe, and it's 24 hours. I put my shoes on. You can't wear shoes over here, but it's 24 hours, man. So I figured I'd come in the middle of the night when everybody else was gone. But it's just a vibe, man. I just like the way it looks. I can't wait to come down here and wash my clothes. So I'm up here at zero dark 30, get my clothes washed, man. Your boy's down to his last pair of drawers and socks and everything else, man. And you can hear the world. You can hear the world is just now waking up. I was talking the other day, and I'm gonna get to what I'm talking about. I was talking the other day, or yesterday, on a video. It's a brother that's living in Bangkok, and he was like, man, it's crazy how safe it is in the middle of the night. And I said, man, the first night I got here, I'm walking down this alley to 7-Eleven, and saw this little girl. She had to be about 7 years old, walking, looking on her cell phone, and by herself. And I'm like, bro, like, it's a different place when it comes to safety, man. But yeah, let's talk about these two important things, right? It all comes down to energy and what role you're playing, right? Now, I'm not going to speak on energy long because the last few videos I made, I talked about energy and bandwidth and how like you only have so much energy to put out. So be cautious and be aware of where you're giving energy because you only have so much to put out in a particular day. Let me get my water, man. You only have so much energy to put out. So I'm not gonna really talk about energy. We pretty much understand that. But the main thing I wanna talk about is when I say it all comes down to the role you're playing. Because this is what you have to understand. And I know it might sound like it's a bad or an evil thing, but it's not. It's just human nature. Everybody wants you to play a major role in their movie. And when I say that, like, there are a lot of quotes or a lot of people have said things like, hey, life is just a movie, or you're just an actor on a stage and all that kind of stuff. Like, that stuff is real. Or when people talk about the Truman Show and all this kind of stuff, that stuff is real. Everybody, we're all just living out a movie. But you have to understand, a lot of people want you to play a role, a leading role in their movie. Everybody wants you to play a leading role in their movie, meaning this. Meaning when you come into their life, they say, hey, you know what? I see who you are. I see the attributes that God gave you. I see your pros and cons. I want your life, when we interact, I want you to be that best version for me. Like, I don't care what you really, and I know that's why I said it's going to sound bad. They're saying, the subconscious is saying, I don't care what you have going on. I don't care about your goals. I don't care about your identity. I don't care about what your movie looks like. I want you to be a star in my movie. So my world can be like I want it to be. Yes, that sounds horrible, but I'm not saying it for it to sound bad. I'm just telling you what everybody is saying on a subconscious level. Everybody wants you to be a star in their movie. Everybody wants your life to benefit them regardless of what you have going on in life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm specifically talking to us brothers in this video because us as men are the protectors and providers, and let's look out for everybody. Let's make sure. So we easily fall into this trap. So what happens is you can become an actor in so many people's play that when you try to compose your own life for it to do a certain thing, going back to this energy, the energy is depleted. It's like, man, I've been in this movie, I've been in this movie, I've been in this movie. In other words, I've been this for this person, this for this person, this for this. Like, now let me create my own world. Now I'm down to 5 to 7%, and I'm trying to create my own world, and I can't. Like, I've read the books, I've seen the videos, I have the knowledge, but I can't make my world do a certain thing because now I'm depleted. But see, us as men, it's hard for us to cross this threshold of knowing because of our roles and responsibilities in society. Us as men, man, we're taught to sacrifice ourselves for the greater good. And to be honest, to an extent, that's part of our job. You know, like when the ship is going down, save the women and children. Like it's something inside of us that will sacrifice ourselves for the greater good of mankind, right? But if you don't have a knowledge of self, if you don't have self-love, if you don't have awareness of what I'm talking about, then you'll easily fall victim to, hey, you know what? My whole life was about giving and forgetting about myself. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of great men fall into that. Like we always talk about seeing a lot of men in different situations, living under bridges or whatever. A lot of times, man, these are phenomenal men. These are wise men. These are great men, but they couldn't cross over and say, hey, you know what? It's not about me making everybody else happy. Like, it's about me too, man. So really what I want to focus on, man, is us understanding that we have our own lives too as men, right? This is what I want to, I'll say this because you say, well, okay, I get what you're saying. So why is it that people do that? And nobody's immune to it. Like this is how everybody moves. Why do people move like that? It comes down to the same thing I'm always talking about. Like when I'm talking about like knowledge of self, or when I'm talking about it's like this. When I'm talking about the first marriage of man, when I'm talking about the higher self and a lower self coming together and having a marriage, meaning your spiritual mind and your physical and your ego come together on one accord. It happens when a person lacks that. Because you got to understand, when I'm talking about the marriage of man, I'm simply talking about living in this physical world, but operating from your spiritual mind. It takes a marriage to do that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand if a person hasn't made that connection within themselves, then they understand that life is a movie, but they have to make a choice to either be in ego or be in spirit. They can't really be in both at the same time. So what you'll have is what the Kabbalion refers to as somewhat what the Kabbalion refers to as half-truthers, where people have a certain knowledge, they know how to create, but since they haven't married their ego, they can't control their ego because there's no relationship. So they have to go back between physical and spiritual, and when they're in that spiritual, now they have to use other actors in this movie of life to run their movie. And I know y'all are saying, what you know what I'm saying? Some of y'all get what I'm saying. Some of y'all understand what I'm saying. A lot of people on a deepest of level, subconscious level, know how to create, but since the marriage between their higher self and lower self hasn't been established, when they operate from their higher self, because everybody can operate from that higher self, they can't do it in conjunction with being connected to their ego. So they have to be in this higher self and want everybody else to be the actors on their stage. I'm telling you, man, it's deep, bro. It's deep, and I'm not saying, like I was saying, I really want to emphasize, I'm not saying this to make it sound like, oh, people are evil. No, people are just people. People are just uninformed. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's crazy, man. Like these, and I haven't been in a laundromat in a long time, but this is a nice laundromat, and like it provides the soap. That's all you gotta do is put your clothes in there, and the soap is provided. And I brought some soap, but I was like, I don't believe it, but it is. That's a noise over there, soaping up. I'm like, dang, where's this, in the walls or whatever? But yeah, man, you gotta understand. Everybody is wanting you to be that character in their play. Be that character in their movie, so that their world, so that their movie can do a certain thing. Think about it, man. Think about your partners, some of your partners, you know. Think about a lot of the relationships you've been in with women. A lot of these women have this idea of what life is, supposed to do and what life is supposed to be. And when a lot of women meet men, they're just saying, hey, you know what, this guy, this man, like he can make my world do a certain thing. You know, it's not about love. It's not about let's build something. It's not about me being a partner for you. It's not about me being a spouse. It's about you. You can make my movie do a certain thing. A lot of your friends, a lot of your partners, a lot of your connections are saying, hey, you know what? Like if I'm connected with you, you can make my life do a certain thing. That's why I say, man, when you have friends or brothers, like make sure them brothers are spreading light or giving light. You know what I'm saying? Because if not, you're gonna have a bunch of friendships. You're gonna have a bunch of associates that all they're doing is draining from you. All they're doing is taking from you instead of making deposits off into your essence or making deposits off into your movie as well. It's a real thing, man. Like you really gotta understand what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, what it really comes down to, brothers, is you have to be a director in your own movie. You have to direct your own movie. Meaning, yes, we love people, we take care of people, we have people's interests in the highest of regards. But your movie has to come first. Your movie has to come first. And the thing is, I'm saying this because this is why I'm saying this, because at some point in life, a lot of men get this. Like a lot of men that I talk to that are my age or older, we can have these kind of conversations and we understand it now. Whereas a lot of guys that are before 40, 30 years old, 20 years old, because a lot of times you won't see this until life does a certain thing over and over. Like at some point you'll start seeing certain patterns and you'll just say, hey, you know what? When life is doing this is taking place. Or when life, you'll start just connecting the dots, man. So, and I know I'm rambling, man. It's 3 something in the morning. I don't know. But when I say become the director of your movie, it's just an awareness of not only are you the creator, but you are the avatar that's the star at the same time. I'm gonna say it again. Not only are you able to tap into universal mind, not only are you able to create a vision in your heaven, right? You are that actor in your movie that's the leading character. You are the leading character that brings that manifestation into fruition. And when you understand that, and all I'm saying is spiritual side, ego side coming together, or acknowledging that both are one. That's really all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And once you understand that, it just opens up. I don't want to really say it opens up doors, but it enlightens you, it informs you of the power that you really have. what it does is it brings all that energy that you've just been displacing to everybody else. It pauses that and brings that energy back into yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like I say this every once in a while. Or I know I've said it before. I remember one point in time, and this might have been, I might have been about 40 years old, man. And like, what would life be like? I can't think how I used to say that, but it was like I just looked at all the energy and love I was just giving out, friends, family, whatever. And I said, what would life be like if I kind of withheld some of that for myself? And to be honest, at 40 years old or however old I was, I had never thought nothing like that. I had never thought about what would life be like if I just loved myself more, if I put myself more, if I just thought about myself a little bit more. I had never thought that in my life, bro. And it's crazy that us as men, we never think about that. You know what I'm saying? So when I say become a director in your movie, man, just pause. When you get done watching this video, man, just pause and say, okay, you know what? Let me just think. I'm always putting the needs and the da of everybody else first. What would happen if I just, kind of like Charles Hannell said, dare to think? What would happen if I just dared to think first? We're not even talking about action. We're not even talking about planning nothing. Like, what if I just dare to even think what I would like to do? What if I just dared to think on where I would like to live, what I would like to drive, the way I would like to dress, the things I want to entertain? And I'm gonna tell you, brother, it's gonna send you down a mental journey where then you will see where you've been sacrificing everything about you for pretty much your whole life. Because we're just not only are we built to kind of be like that, but we're institutionalized to kind of overextend that hand. And from that point, man, just start directing your movie. I'm not saying neglect everything else, neglect nobody. I'm not saying that. I'm saying put yourself first, bro. Like, because us as men have just as much of a right to live life as everybody else. And I say that because I talk to so many men where that hasn't clicked yet. Like I said, man, we're built to sacrifice. It's part of our DNA. Like, we get satisfaction off of making sure everybody else is good. But again, man, like you only get one life, man. Like, live your life. Be the director in your own movie, bro. Marry yourself. You know what I'm saying?